In this training session, we'll be covering the advanced features of the software, the ones which we missed out in the first training session, which includes some of the advanced features, the reports, and the billing section. So now coming to services over here. See, in the last training session, we already discussed about few of the things in the services. The ones which we have left out, we'll be discussing that right now. So basically, in the last training session, what we discussed in service was on the service list page, you will see all the services which you provide in your office. When you go into a particular service, you see the stage master, the compliances, that is the clients to which you give this service. You can create a default theme in the service. These all things we covered in the last training session. Now today we'll be covering the left out things. First one is the to-do section over here. So see, any kind of requirements which you have from your client side, be it any documents, any clarification, or any kind of checklist type of thing. So that for that you can prepare this to-do list over here. Now see, there are three methods of preparing a to-do list. One is that over here in the service master itself, you prepare a to-do list. And now how stages work, like we saw previously, whenever you create stages over here, these stages are copied to each and every task of this particular service. In the same manner, when you prepare a to-do list over here, a checklist kind of thing, so this checklist, whatever you mention over here, it will be copied to each and every task of this service. This is one method of adding to-do. That is, you come to this particular service and add the to-do over here. Okay. Now the next method of adding to-do is you can create templates as well. Like suppose if your to-do list or your checklist is specific to your clients. Like for some clients you have a different checklist, for some clients a different one will be there. So instead of adding it at the service master level, because when you add over there, it will be copied to each and every client's task. But if that is not the scenario, that you want specific checklist for specific clients or for specific work, then you can create a to-do template over here in the office configuration. So this is basically a template which you will be creating, and this template you will fetch it wherever you require it. To task or to subtask, wherever you require this to-do template, at that place you can fetch this template. When you create at the service level, it is automatically copied to every task. But when you create templates and kit, you can fetch it wherever you require it. So in this method, you can see like what we have done over here. I came to this to-do template and we have created this template for scrutiny basic documents. And whichever documents will be required, that I'll mention over here. So that now I can fetch it, this template wherever I require. I'll show you that also. So suppose I go to a particular task over here. And in this task, I want to fetch that to-do template. So what I'll do, I'll come to this to-do section, and over here, this template option is there. So from here, I can fetch that template, whichever I require. This is the second method of adding to-do. Now the next method, like the last method of adding to-do is that when you come to a particular task or a subtask, manually also you can add the to-dos specific to that task or subtask. So when I come to a particular task, here add option is there. So here also I can add the to-do now. Okay, so this is the third method of adding to-do. Now how to add the to-dos? In all the three methods, the like how to add it, that process is same. So when I wish to add to-do over here, what I will do is sort number, I'll give it as 1. And I'll mention my requirements over here, just press by like pressing an enter. So you can add multiple values, just press enter after each value. So document 1, enter, document 2, enter, document 3, and save this. So all these 3 requirements will be added over here. Now there is one more thing which you can do in to-do, that is add team members in to-do. You can assign to-dos to specific team members as well. So here that team member option is there. specific to-dos, if you want specific members only to work on that, then you can assign members also in the to-do. So suppose first one I want it for this specific member only, that she will be doing this particular to-do. So I'll add her name. Whenever you mark the to-do as complete over here, whenever you have to mark the to-do as complete, just toggle this switch. So it will be updated that who has completed it. If you want to make a note of some specific remarks or instructions, that also you can note it down over here so that it will appear below the to-do. Okay, so this all things you can do at to-do level. I'll repeat it once more. So basically, when you want to create the to-do list, there are three methods of creating it. One is that you go to a specific service and you create the to-do list in that service. It will be copied to each and every task of the service. I'm talking about task, not subtask. Then the next method is you can alternatively create templates and kits so that you can fetch this to-do templates wherever you require in any of the tasks, in any of the subtasks. Then the third method is you go to a particular task and you can create the to-do in that particular task or subtask. To-dos, you can add team members also in to-dos so that the member will know that I have to work on this particular to-do. Now moving forward to the next thing over here. So in the services, there is one more section which we left out last time, that is fields. Now, see, up till now you are tracking your task, like whatever, since the time you are using the software, you are tracking your task based on how near is the due date, like you see on that calendar on your dashboard. Then you track it based on which stages are left, which are completed, which member is working, and so on. But apart from all those things, whenever you feel that any extra tracking is required on any particular work, any particular service, you want to track many more things apart from the existing normal task management part, then you can use this fields option over here. Because over here, you have the privilege that you can create your own set of fields over here. Whatever things you wish to track, you can add it over here so that now the reports will be generated based on what fields you have created. I'll give you one example. So suppose if I am into this particular service CIT appeal, in this service we require to track that who is the CIT in charge or what was the date of filing appeal, then whether the matter was fixed or not. So this all things I cannot do in my normal task management part. So what I'll do is I'll come to this fields section over here and I'll add my fields. Whichever I wish to track, I'll add it over here. The name of the field I'll mention and the field type. Now this is important because this field type will decide that the answer will be like whatever question you are asking over here. Suppose I am asking date of filing appeal. Okay. Now the answer of this question will be, the value of this question will be in date format. That is why I'll select date over here. So this is very important to select this format over here, and all the possibilities have been given. Text will include alphanumeric. If you have a pure number, like if you wish to track refund amount and all, that will be a pure number. So you can put number over here in the field type. For any kind of date, you will put date. Now the last option is drop down. Now drop down will be useful when you have the answer in yes, either yes or no, or particular specific values you have for your answers. So that you can create drop down over here. What type of, like what will be the drop down list, that also you will mention over here. Like suppose yes or no will be the drop down. So I'll mention yes space no. This is your master setup. That is, you are creating the fields over here. Again, like how stages, how to-dos work, like whatever you create over here gets copied to your task. In the similar manner, fields will also work. Whatever fields I have created over here, this will be copied to each and every task of this particular service. So we'll take one task of this service. So what we have done, we came here and we created the fields over here in the master. Then I'll go to one particular task of CIT appeal. So over here, I'll just filter out. Yeah. So I'll take one particular task of CIT appeal over here. Now in this fields section, you will find all those fields which you have created in the master. So here what I have to do, I just have to put the values of this field. What is the date of CIT order? So that date I'll mention it over here. In the similar manner, all the other values also you can put over here, so that now a report will be generated based on all this. So when I come to this field dashboard report over here, I'll select all and I'll select the service as CIT appeal. So now I will see all the tasks of CIT appeal over here. These columns which are shown over here, these are your basic columns. Up till now what you were seeing on other reports also, like the client's name, the status of the task and so on. But after this, when you scroll further on the right hand side, now you will find the columns which you have created. Like the columns which we created, date of filing appeal, name of CIT and all. So these are the columns which we have created. In that manner, I am seeing the report now. So now it will become so easier for me when I wish to see that, okay, only show me all the tasks where the matter is not fixed. So I'll just select no over here. So only those tasks will be shown, only those clients will be shown where the matter is not fixed. So in this manner, you can use fields option. Either you can track any kind of thing over here. Either you track the refund amount, or after return filing, you get the acknowledgement number. If you want to mention that, you can create a field for that also. So that once you have filed the return, the member who has filed it will just mention the acknowledgement number for that in that particular task. So this kind of extra things you can track it via this fields option. What you have to do over here is just in the service, in whichever service you require to track that, come to this fields section, create the fields over here, and in every task you will find this, like in all the tasks of this service, you will find these fields. So you fill the values of these fields over here, and accordingly you see the report based on that. Now the next thing which comes over here in the services section is subtask. Now see, under a particular task, you can create subtask as well. So when you feel that this particular task, this particular engagement will require many other tasks under that, then you can use the subtask option for that. Mainly it will be useful in your audit related work or your work which goes on for several months basically. Okay. So subtask also, if you create over here itself, it will be copied to each and every task of this service. That is, by default, whatever subtask you create over here, those subtasks will be created as soon as any task of this service is created. Suppose under this service, I create 3 specific subtasks. So whenever I'll create any task of this service, this 3 subtasks will be automatically created for that service. Sorry, for that task. Now for subtask activation, first in the office configuration, over here in office config tab, you have to mark subtask as active. Then only it will be activated for your office. By default, it is no over here, but you have to mark yes over here whenever you wish to use subtask. Then you will get the option of subtask over here. Okay. Now subtask also, there are 3 methods again for adding subtask similar to your to-do. Either you create at the service level itself, you come to that service and mention the subtask over here itself. Next option is you create a subtask template. Like how we saw for to-do template kind of thing. In the similar manner, subtask template option is also there. So you can create subtask template, and then this template you can fetch it in any of the tasks. So we have created this for tax audit. We have created this subtask template, which includes this two subtasks. So whenever I want, I can fetch this template into any of the tasks. And the last method of adding subtask is you go to a particular task and you can one by one create subtasks in that task. So here, this is your subtask section over here. So here, by clicking on this plus button, you can create one by one the subtask over here. To fetch the template, this is the option for that. wherein you can directly fetch the template for subtask. In a particular task, if you wish to see, here you will see that for this task, these two subtasks are pending. So the pending list will be shown and all the subtasks will be shown over here in this all section. When I click on this pending, those two subtasks will be shown to me. Like these are those two subtasks. Now for like how for every task you have a separate page, a task view page is there for every task wherein we can view all the information of that task. Same thing is followed in subtask also. So you can go to a subtask view page will be there over here, wherein you can assign team members to the subtask over here. If you want different team members to work on different subtasks, you can add the team members over here. Then you can form a to-do list over here as well. In the same methods, like how we discussed for to-dos in the task section, in the similar concept, to-dos also you can create at subtask level as well. You can put your work entry at subtask level also. So whenever you are working on any subtask and you have done something on that, you can update your work entry at subtask level as well. And you can upload the documents also at subtask level. Okay. So basically all the things which you could do at task level can be done at subtask level also. When I wish to track all my subtasks, I can come to this subtask list page over here and I can track all the subtasks over here. To each of the subtasks, you can give target dates as well. That is when you want this work to be completed. So that target date you can mention over here in the subtask also. So that whenever, like whichever member has been assigned to that subtask, on the dashboard in this target date section, now they will see their pending subtask as well over here. So you can see these 5 subtasks are there over here. Now, whichever person has completed the subtask, like this 4th subtask is pending, suppose I mark it as completed. So it will be updated over here that which person has completed this subtask. Then there is the option for verification also. So you can put your verification also at subtask level. Now see, how for task we have 4 kinds of status options: going, completed, stuck, ignore. Remember, for at task level, we have these 4 status options, but at subtask level, we don't have any predefined status options. You can create your own customized status for subtask. Where to create that? In the office config page. So in the office config page, this subtask status option is there, wherein you can prepare your own set of status over here. So that this whichever member is working on that subtask, they can accordingly give the status to that subtask. So suppose if I'm working on this particular subtask, whichever appropriate status I feel for this subtask, that I can give it over here. So that now you can filter it out status wise as well. So for subtask, we don't have any predefined status. You can create your own status in the office config and you can give it to your respective subtask. So this was all about subtask. Now moving forward to the next thing what we see in the task. Suppose I go to a particular task. Over here, just besides the subtask, you have one more option over here. One more tab is there. This is for hearings, scrutinies, appeals, notices. For all these things, you can create hearings over here. Now, these hearings will be useful in tracking that which hearing is completed, which is still pending, or you can even mention the outcome and instructions for your hearing. I'll show you how. So suppose for this particular task, I have some hearing, some scrutiny or some notice, appeal, whatever thing is there. So I can come here and I can accordingly create that, give the hearing date over here. Okay. All the pending hearings which I wish to see about this task will be shown over here. So this one hearing is pending for this particular task. This is that hearing. When I wish to see all the hearings of the office, I have this hearing list page over here. Hearing report is there, which will show me all the hearings which we have created. And now I can track over here. Like obviously, currently it is showing me only the pending ones. but you can filter out the completed ones, or you can filter out all the hearings at a time, so that now you'll be able to track which hearing is completed, which is still pending. As well as when I mentioned that you can mention the outcome, instructions also over here. So those things also you can maintain over here. Now currently we are seeing this in the card format. You have the option that you can switch it to the table format, so that those outcome and instruction columns, those will also be incorporated over here. Whenever you complete any hearing, just toggle this switch. It will be marked as completed. Now to add the hearing, previously what we saw, you go to a task and you can create the hearing in that task. But the alternate option is via this hearing list page itself, you can add the hearing from here itself. So I just have to select my client's name, like for which particular client this hearing is. Now, whichever client I have selected, all the tasks of this client will be displayed over here in this drop down. So I can accordingly select that particular task and mention the name of the hearing and the date of the hearing. So in this method, you can create the hearing. Whichever hearings you create, based on the hearing dates, it will be mapped to your calendar over here. So this purple color over here indicates the hearings. So whenever you have any hearing, according to that hearing date, it will be mapped with your calendar. So when we go to a particular task, what all things we see in this task? We see the dashboard, which we discussed last time, to-do list, fields, this we discussed it today. Obviously, work done will show you all the work done, all the work which was done on this task. Billing tab over here is left. Now, basically in this billing tab over here, what you can mention is the expected cost for this particular work. So whatever is the cost you are charging from your client, that you can mention over here. And this actual cost will be calculated based on the cost per hour of every member in the office. So what you have to do is in the master, in the team section over here, you can mention the cost per hour for every member. You can go in that members dashboard, and over here in the team cost, you can mention the cost per hour. So that whenever they are working or they are charging their time on any particular task, this actual cost will be accordingly calculated. So suppose I enter some work done over here. Suppose I have worked for 1 hour on this particular task. Okay. So I've entered my work done. So you see, accordingly, the actual cost was changed. Previously, it was 1500. Now the cost has changed over here. Since I have entered 1 hour of my time over here, I have charged 1 hour. That is why, based on my cost per hour, this actual cost is calculated over here. And you can see over here which member has spent how much time. So we can see Pooja has spent 1 hour on this task and Darshana has spent 3 hours. So this is how you can like the profit or the loss for this particular engagement will be calculated over here. Next thing what you can do in a task is you can mention the expected time also, that this work should be completed in this much time. So 4 hours were the expected time. In actual, how much time was spent on it, whether it was completed prior or it was delayed. So those things you can see over here. Now, the last option over here is, suppose if you are not preparing the bill from Jamku, you are not doing your billing part from Jamku, but you want to maintain a track of which tasks are billed and which are left for billing. So here you can come to that particular task and mark the task as billed or unbilled accordingly. By default, it will be unbilled only. Whenever you prepare the bill for this task, you can mark it as billed or partially billed, whichever is applicable. Basically, this you have to do if you are not preparing the bills from Jamku. If you prepare the bills from Jamku, automatically the status will change. As soon as you prepare the bill, automatically it will be marked as billed over here. Now, this is what we are seeing on one particular task. We came to this task and we saw the expected cost, expected hour, billing status and all for this particular task. Now, when I wish to see it for the whole process, then we have this costing report over here. Task costing report, which will show me for the whole office. based on, you can filter it out based on your creation date or your completion date, or however you want it. So here what it is showing me is all the tasks which were completed. Currently I have applied the filter of 1st July to 9th of July. Suppose I just cancel out this filter. So it will show me all the tasks of the office, and it will show me the same thing like we saw in that particular task. Now it is showing me for all the tasks, whether it's a profit or loss, or whether the work is delayed or completed prior, as well as it is showing me the billing status also over here. Suppose if I just wish to see this report for only the billed one, only for the billed task. So this is that report. So you can filter it out over here as in how you want, like partner wise, client wise, group wise. However you want to apply the filter, you can apply the filter on this report. This is your task costing report. Now, one by one, we'll take the reports over here because we covered, like we went into one particular task and we covered all the things over here in this task. All the steps we have covered it. Some we covered it in the last training session. Some we covered it right now. Now, we'll take one by one the reports over here. So, dashboard, client list, group list, task list. These things are already covered in training one. Now, the next thing is reminder list. So you know that you can create your reminders from your dashboard. Over here, whatever small jobs are there, for that you can create the reminders. But on the dashboard, you will see only the reminders which are pending, and according to the remind date what you put over here. In the reminder, whichever remind date you put, based on that only the reminders will come on your dashboard. But when you wish to see all the reminders, irrespective of whether they are pending or completed, or irrespective of the remind date, then you can come to this reminder list page, which will show you all your reminders. By default, it will show only the incomplete ones. You can filter it out there. Okay, so all the reminders will be shown on this reminder list page. Then the next page over here is profile list. Now see, whatever information you have of your clients, be it the mobile numbers, email IDs, or whatever kind of information, obviously you go in that client, and in this profile section, you maintain all those information. So when I come to this client and I visit this profile section, it will show me only with respect to this client, all the information. But what if I wish to see for all my clients in the office? Then I can come to this report called as profile list, which will show me all the all the clients information over here. Then I can filter it out as I want. If I wish to see only email IDs and mobile numbers, so I can just filter out based on that. So now it is showing me email IDs and mobile numbers for all the clients which I have mentioned in the office. I can filter it out as I want. If I wish to see only for a particular client only, then I can accordingly filter based on that. So when I filter a client's name only for that respective client, whatever information we have, that will be shown over here. And every report, like most of the reports, you can switch it to this Excel kind of format also, that is to this tabular format as well. Now coming to folder list over here. Folders are basically for your physical inventory. Whatever physical documents, hard copies which you have with you of your clients, what you do like you go in that particular client and you create the folders over here. In this client, this folder section is there, wherein you mention it, like which document it is and where it is kept, the location you mention over here. So again, this is with respect to this client only. When I wish to see it for all my clients in the office, then I can come to this folder list page over here, which will show me for all my clients, all the documents. Now over here, the important thing on this report is you can track the expiry dates of your documents over here in this report. Suppose I wish to see only the digital signatures of all the clients, and I wish to see only show me the digital signatures which are expiring in this particular period. So I can accordingly select that period over here so that it will show me all the digital signatures which are expiring in this period. So this folder list page will also help you in tracking the expiry dates. Password list. See, up till now what we have seen is that when you wish to see any individual information of that client, you go in that client and you see it. When you wish to see for the whole office, you come to this list pages over here. So password list will also show me all the usernames, passwords of all my clients at a single location. Suppose now I wish to see only GST username passwords for all my clients. So I can accordingly apply filter in that manner. Hearing list we already covered. Now whichever to-dos you create for that, we have a to-do list also. So basically when you create a to-do, you go in that task and you track that to-do. But what if I wish to track it for a particular client? Like one client has visited my office and I wish to track all the to-dos which are pending for that client. So I can come to this to-do list. So obviously I won't go in each and every task of that client and I'll check which to-dos are pending. So what I can do is I can directly come to this to-do list, filter that client's name, and all the to-dos of this client will be displayed over here. So for Akash Gupte, whichever to-dos are pending, it will be displayed over here. So I can get a list of all the to-dos over here. Now coming to daily dashboard report. Now see, we suggest everyone to visit this daily dashboard once in a day. And whenever you visit this page on the right hand side, you can see on the rightmost top corner, this timer is calculated over here. It will calculate 20 seconds over here. If you are there on this page for 20 seconds, it will mark you as seen. That is, you have visited the daily dashboard. So when I refresh it now, you can see over here, this green icon over here, that is, it shows over here now that I have visited this daily dashboard. And for yesterday, it is showing red icon, which means I have not visited this yesterday. Now, why we suggest everyone to visit this daily dashboard once in a day? Because as soon as you visit this page, you see your priority task over here. Whichever task have highest priorities, that is, whichever work is urgent or important, or you have to complete that work before you do anything else, those will be displayed over here. And it is clickable. When you click on that, it takes you to that respective list of tasks. Your priority tasks, your priority reminders. As well as you see your work hours over here. How much hours of work input you have given, that it will show over here. So today I have entered 1 hour of work input till now. That is why it is showing 1 hour. When I click on that, it will show me that description and all about that work done. This NM over here is basically for attendance. If you have not marked your attendance, it will show NM over here that is not marked. Or either if you have marked it, it will show either present or absent, whatever is applicable. Then this percentage sign over here, this is basically indicating that how much hours of attendance, that is, suppose if you're marking your attendance from say 9 to 5. So in this 9 to 5, in this 8 hours, in actual how much work input you have given, that percentage it will display over here. To give a more clarity, what I'll do, I'll mark my attendance for today. So I'll come to this attendance page and I'll accordingly mark my attendance over here. So I have marked my attendance over here. Now when I go to the daily dashboard report and I refresh it, so here you will see I have marked myself as present, and 16% over here means I have spent 16% of my attendance hours in the actual work. So since I have marked my attendance say from 12 to 6, so during this 6 hours, I have just worked for 1 hour. That is why it is showing over here that I have spent just 16% of my attendance hours. Then the next thing which you see over here on this task stock report is that whatever tasks were given to you during this particular period. So I am tracking it from say yesterday. From say 6th of July to 9th of July. So here I can see since 6th of July, my opening balance was 755. That is 755 pending tasks were there with me. Any new task which was assigned during this period? So 0. That is none of the new tasks were assigned to me. How many tasks did I complete during this time? So 1 task I have completed during this particular period which I have entered at the top. How many is pending now? So 754 are pending. So basically it is showing you the stock of your task. like what was your opening balance, any new task if you were assigned, completed ones, that is any task if you completed in this period, what you have mentioned over here, and now how much is the pending stock. So that details it will show you over here. Now the next thing over here is this absenteeisms or the leaves calendar. Basically, it will show you all the if anyone has marked future absenteeisms and all. So those it will show you over here. Like which person going to be available on any particular day. So it will show you over here those details. Now time tracking over here is basically this report will be useful only if you are capturing detailed work done. So if you are capturing the from time and to time in the work done, then this report will be useful because it will show you the from time and to time, that is from 11 to 12. During this time, I worked on this particular task. So it will give you a proper time tracking over here only if you are capturing the detailed work done. Otherwise, this report won't be useful. The last thing what we see on this page is this aging report. Now, basically, this report will show me all the past tasks of the office which are still in the pending state. So we can see over here, since Feb 2017, we have this 28 tasks which are still in the pending state. So I can accordingly click on that and I can take any actions on this task now. Either I mark them as completed or I mark them as ignored. So basically, so that you never miss out on your old task, this aging report will show you all the past tasks which were created in the system and are still pending. Now, each and every, like you saw, this page shows you small reports, and each and every report has this option, my team and all. So according to the permissions, you can view all these reports over here. So this was your daily dashboard. Coming to whatever changes happened in the office. Like see, suppose I was absent during last 4-5 days. Like suppose from 5th of July, I was absent. I was not paying attention or whatever reason is there. Now, after this time, when I open the system, the first thing I would like to see is what happened on my task during my absence. Where the task given to someone else, or where the task completed, or where it marked as stuck, whether the due dates were changed for them. So basically, whatever changes happened on the work which I was being given. So if I wish to know all those changes, then this is the report. Task history is the report where you come to this report and you can track all the changes which happened on your task and by whichever member. Whichever member has done that changes, those will also be shown over here. So what I have to do, I just have to come to this report and I accordingly have to mention the date over here. Like from which date I wish to see all these things. So suppose I wish to see it from 1st of July. Now what are things I wish to see? Status change, team members change, date change, and any other custom notes and all. These all things also you can track it over here and then just refresh it. So whatever changes might have happened. So I can see on this 5 tasks, the changes happened. What I can see over here, the name of the task I'll see. Then I'll see on 7th of July at this time, this task was marked as completed. G to C means that the task was marked from going to completed. Who did it? This member did it for this particular client. So whatever changes happened to my task during my absence or like that, all those things I can view over here. This will also act as your notification page basically. Like if you wish to see on your daily basis like what changes is happening on your task by other members, that you can see over here. It will show you only for the task where you have been assigned to. And again, it depends on the permissions also over here. Task costing report we already discussed about. Now the next thing over here is task planning page. Now see, basically over here, it will show you a weekly chart from 5th of July to 11th of July. Suppose I shift to previous week. Now I can select the members over here, like for which all members I wish to see this report. So I'll select the members and basically this report is now showing me that during this particular week which I have selected over here, During this week, how much occupied a person is. So against, like below each name, below the name of each member over here, you can see the work which they have been given. Now this work is mapped over here based on the target date. So here you will see that during this week how much occupied each of the member is, so that you accordingly know that if someone is comparatively free or someone is over occupied, you can accordingly transfer that work. So you can accordingly transfer or adjust that work with other members. As well as if someone wants to go on a leave, you can accordingly via this report, you can see that to whom you can transfer that work, because it is showing you the occupancy of each and every member. Now, one of the important report is work done analytics. When you wish to see all your work done, that is whatever work input you have put, if you wish to see the details of that, this is the report where you can come, and over here you can view whatever date or period you mention over here. Suppose I track it from the month of June and I track it for all the members in the office. And what things you wish to track, that also you can select it from this pivot table over here. So if I wish to see the task name also, the work description also. So now we can see, I'll just refresh this. So yeah, so during this period, whatever work each and every member have entered in the office, those work input will be shown over here. So we can see over here that Pooja has spent 34 hours. Now where she has spent this time, when I drill down it will show me the name of the client, like on which all clients she has spent this time. For each client, what work she has done, that also will be shown to you. So here we can see for Yash Gupte, she spent 3 hours on which task on income tax return. What work she has exactly done, that also you will see over here based on the work description work report. And if you are capturing from time to time, you can track that also in this report. So basically on this report, you can track you can track the things in multiple manner. Either to track it user wise, that which user has spent how much time, or if that is not important to you, can track it client wise as well, like how much time is getting invested in your client. This is very important to know, so that you identify that whether that client is that important that you have invested that much time. So here we can see during the month of June for Lixor Limited, we spent 15 hours. So now I can accordingly track that whether this client is that important that we have invested this much time in this client, or should we increase the fees of this client, or whatever thing is that. That all things you can track over here. Service wise or in whichever manner you wish, you can track it in that manner. If I wish to see only show me in accounting how much time was spent, or in a particular service how much time was spent, then I can from this pivot table I can accordingly select those things as well. So all the work done in the office will be tracked via this report, via the work done report. You can also track cost wise as well. Like we discussed, you can mention the cost per hour for every member in the master. So here you can track it in cost, like you can track the report cost wise also, that actual how much cost you have incurred it for that particular client. Now coming to compliance dashboard report, see, all your recurring services, compliance word, as we already discussed in the first training session also, compliance word, wherever it will be used in the software, it is only for your recurring services. So over here on this compliance dashboard report, you see all the recurring services over here, monthly, quarterly, yearly, whenever you provide those services, and you will see the status of the work for the whole office. So here I can see for month of March 2020, for GSTR1, one task was completed, 11 are still going on, and one is stuck. So basically, period on period, you will see the scenario for that particular service, how much work is completed, how much is still going on. And when you click over here, you will know that list of tasks also. When I click on this one, I wish to see this one task which is stuck. So I can accordingly see that this is that task if I wish to see the reason also. So this is that reason for which the task is marked as stuck. So basically on your compliance dashboard report, you get a bird's eye view of all the recurring services of your office. Here also you can filter it out team member wise, or respective team members will by default see only their report, that is based on only their task. Now over here there is one more option over here. At the top you can see this toggle switch. Basically when you switch to non-compliance over here, by default it will show you this compliance dashboard report. If you toggle this switch, you come to the non-compliance report. Basically non-compliance report will show you the number of clients for whom the task is not yet created. So for your bulk task, like bulk task creation, when you do, this is the recommended option, that you create your bulk task via this, via the non-compliance report. So here we can see that for the month of June, now if I wish to create the task, I can see GSTR1, this 14 clients are there for whom the task has to be created. So I can simply click over here, select these clients and add task. So basically your non-compliance report will show you all the number of clients for whom you have not yet created the task. So this report will also help you so that you never miss out on any clients or any task creation. Here you can see for the month of April, these 2 clients are there for whom still the task is not created for 3 weeks. So if you have missed out on any task creation, this report will be there, which will show you all those number of clients for whom the task is still not created. So your bulk task creation, you can do it via this report. Coming to stage dashboard over here. So see, we discussed in the first training session that you can create stages under each of the service. So over here, you can track those stages over here. Whichever stages you have created for a particular service, you can track the report based on the stages. So suppose I wish to see it for the month of January only. 3D for the month of January, I wish to see what is the status. So now it is showing me the get data from client. So we have received the data from 45 clients, from 30 clients it is still pending. So here I'll exactly see that where the client's work is where the client's work is delayed, whether it's delayed from his side that he have not given the data only, or whether it is getting delayed from our end. So this tracking you can do via this report. So now we know that this 30 clients have still not given the data. So I know that the delay is happening from the client's end itself. Now the next thing what you can track over here is that, okay, we have received the data from 45 clients. Out of this, return filing has been done for how many? So we can see over here for 8 clients the return filing has been done. So this tracking you can do over here. Now when you further shift down, like when you further scroll down over here, the next thing what you will see on this report is exactly the names of the clients and the stages over here. Like which stage is completed for which client, which stage is still pending. So I can just select the things which I require and just cancel out the other things. So if I don't require any particular set of columns over here, I can simply cancel them. So now here I am seeing the task, the name of the clients, the name of the team members who are working on that client's task, and I can also see all the stages which we have created. So now suppose I just wish to see that, okay, only show me those clients from whom we have received the data, but still return filing is left. So I can easily apply the filter over here, like show me all the clients from whom we have received the data, that is yes over here. And in the return filing column, I'll select no, that is return filing is not done for this client. So these are those clients from whom we have received the data, but still return filing is still there. So this tracking also you can do over here, like for which client, which stage is done, which is still pending, which members are working on that. As well as when you further scroll down over here, you see this kind of progress chart over here, which will compare the progress of the stages. So like for each stage, whichever stage you create, for each stage, different colors will be denoted over here. Now you can compare only the things which you wish to compare, only the stages which you wish. So suppose I just wish to compare get data from client and return file. So these are those two curve patterns over here. The red one indicates the data received from the client, and the green one indicates the return filing. So you can see in the beginning, return filing was not yet done, and at a particular point of time, the return filing curve shoot up. So via this report, you know that like you can compare the progress of your stages also over here. So this was your stage dashboard report where you see everything about your stages. Now coming to email section. So whenever you wish to send emails to your clients from your client list page, you can select those set of clients to whom you wish to send emails. Now for email, the first thing which you have to do over here is in the office configuration, you have to mention the email IDs over here. So in this office config, like in this office master, in this email section, you will mention the email IDs over here so that the replies you will receive on this email IDs which you have mentioned over here. Email templates also you can create it so that you can directly fetch the templates. Whenever you are sending emails to your clients, you don't have to type the content. You can directly fetch the template also. Now, when you wish to send emails, you select those particular set of clients from here and you click on the send email button. This yellow section over here indicates that this many clients are there for whom I have not mentioned their email IDs. So obviously emails won't go to this clients because I don't have their email ID saved it in the system. Whenever I wish to send emails, I'll just select my email ID from here. I'll select the email template if I have created and then send the email to the clients. Whatever emails you send from here, there is this email report wherein you will have the track of all the emails which you have sent till date. So whichever emails you have sent it to your clients, all those lists will appear over here that to which client you have sent it, the subject of the email, when was it sent, the delivery date, and all those things you can track it over here. Now there is this attendance analytics report, which is with respect to the attendance what each and every person mark in the office. So on this attendance analytics report, you can view how many days a person was present, their average in time, out time, those things also you can track it over here. And obviously, whichever other things you wish to track, that you can select from this pivot table. So for each member, you will see the number of days when they were present, then their average in time and their out time. And if you have created attendance categories, you can track that also. So this was all about the reporting part. Now we will go to the billing section over here. So see, for billing, you have to use Jumco 2 over here because in Jumco 3, the billing part is still in development. So you can visit this v2.jumco.app. Like for Jumco 3, what is the URL? It's jumco.app. But for Jumco 2, the URL is v2.jumco.app. All your data, your user ID, password, everything is synced over here in both the versions. So whatever changes you make over there, it will be reflected over here. Whatever changes you do over here, it will be reflected in Jumco 3 as well. So just for billing part, you have to use this Jumco 2. And one more section, you have to use this Jumco 2, that is SMS and client login. So first we will discuss client login and then we will come to billing section. So you know that client portal is there wherein your clients can also log in into Jumco. So to activate login for any of your clients, you just go to that particular client and in this profile section over here, client login tab is there, wherein you can activate the login for that particular client. So if you wish that this client should access the client portal, you can activate the login for this client. Whatever number you have saved over here, the client will receive SMS on this number regarding the login details. That is the password, the login URL, those things you will receive on this number. This will be your client login URL basically. When I go to this, it takes me to the client login portal of my office. In the similar manner, you will have it for your office also. So to activate client login, you just come to that client. In the profile section, this client login part is there, wherein you can activate the login. You can activate logins for as many clients as you want. And the next section is SMS. If you have SMS activated for your office, the text SMS part, then you can use this communication section for sending SMS to your clients. So this communication section is there wherein you can copy paste the number of clients, the client numbers. So to whichever clients you wish to send SMS, copy those client numbers and paste it in the communication section over here. So like if you're on some report and all and you wish to send SMS only to a particular set of clients, you can easily copy that client number from there, paste it over here in the SMS section, and over here you will have the option to type the SMS and send it to all these clients which you have mentioned over here. Now coming to billing section. So over here, the first thing for billing which you have to do is in the office setup, you have to create your office entity over here first. That is your office information basically. So here you can create as many entities as you want. If you print bills from different entities, you can keep on adding the entities over here. This is your master setup. Only once you have to enter this entity section. So here basically you will mention your GST number, whether GST is applicable or not, your address, the bill numbering, receipt numbering you can decide over here, and any additional things which you want to be printed on your bill that you can mention in remark 1, remark 2 or declaration. So in the similar manner, you can create your entities over here so that while preparing the bill, it will give you the option, like from which entity you wish to prepare this bill. So this is one thing, that is you will set up your entity. Now the next thing over here is you will go to that particular group for whom you are creating the bill. So you go to that group over here. And in the bill location, now you will mention the client's location, that is the client's information. So the GST number of the client, the address, those things you can mention over here for your clients. These are just one-time setup, that is creating your entity, creating your client's information. These are one-time setup. So next time onwards, what you have to do is just come here and click on the bill button. So you come to a particular group, for whichever group you wish to create the bill, you come to that group, click on the bill button, select your entity from this drop down, give any bill description, whatever bill description you want, you can give it, and next. Now when you click on next, whenever you select this client location over here, all the unbilled tasks of this group will be displayed over here. So whichever tasks are left for billing, the list you will automatically get it over here. From here, you just have to select now, like which task you wish to prepare in this bill. So whichever task you are billing, just select those tasks from this rightmost corner drop down arrow over here. So from here, you can select those particular tasks. Click on the save button. There are two save buttons over here at the top and at the bottom. And then click on enable printing. Any final editing if you wish to do on the bill, on this amount or anything, that you can do it over here. So by default, this amount which is coming over here, this amount is taken from the standard cost which you put at task level or at service level. But if you wish to change this thing, you can edit it over here also. Any extra lines if you want to enter in the bill, you can use this add line option to add those extra lines. And then click on the print button. So this is how the bill will look like. Okay, so for billing, I'll repeat it once more. What you have to do, just go to that particular group for whom you want to create the bill. Click on the bill button, and when you click on this next option over here, you come to this bill edit page, wherein you will see all the list of unbilled tasks. You can quickly select from here. You can also filter out the tasks if you wish to see only the completed list of the tasks. So you can just filter out the completed one. And just follow these steps, that is save the bill and click on the print button. Now if you wish to see all the bills which you have created, so this bill list is the page which will show you all the bills which you have created in the office. So this is a list of all your bills. Then on this, whenever you receive any amount on any particular bill, you can quickly go to that bill over here and you can select yes over here. Under fees received, you will select yes. So that on this bill list page, you can also track that against which bill the amount has been received from the second last column. So when I press 0 dot over here, it will just show me all the bills where the amount is not received. When I press 1, it will show me only those bills where we have received the amount. And suppose now everything is completed about this bill, then there is an option to post this bill. If you click on this post button, now onwards, nobody will be allowed to edit this bill. So if you post this bill, you cannot edit it till the time you unpost it again. Now, whichever amount, like whatever you receive from your clients, for that you can prepare receipts also over here. So over here you can create the receipt that from which client you have received that. So that you can put it over here. In which entity you have received that amount, that you can mention the amount, you can mention and save this. So this is how you can create the receipts, so that on the receipt list page you will get a record of all the receipts. As well as this group profit report is there, which will show you for each client, each group, it will show you that what is the billing amount, how much you have received from this, how much is the outstanding now, what is your actual cost, and what is your profit. Then this last two columns shows you how many bills are, like how many tasks are billed for this client and how many are still left for billing. So those numbers it will show you over here. This report is showing you for the whole office. You can filter it out as you want, partner wise, branch wise. Now, if you wish to see it only for a particular group, you wish to see all the information of a particular group only, just go to that group. In this money section, you will find that information, like which bills were made, on which date, for how much amount, what the receipts also it will show you over here, like how much you have received from the client and how much is the balance now. So in the bank passbook style, you will see this information of all the bills and all the receipts which were created for this particular group. So this is the billing section. So this covers the whole software over here. So there were two training sessions, training part 1 and this was training part 2, where we covered the reporting section, the advanced features and the billing section.